It is a world of darkness. Welcome to Werewolf the Apocalypse. Aru, my guru.
What?
This is session 0 of Werewolf the Apocalypse, and appropriately, I've brought just nothing to the table but a blank sheet of paper. My barrier to entry to running games is a lot of I overthink it. I think I have to over prepare. I have to do a bunch of like, oh, what if and this and that and that. And I am here to tell you at home, as well as myself, you don't need to do any of that. You just have to make sure your friends have a good time. So, blank sheet of paper ahoy. We're going to create some fucking werewolves, y'all. So, World of Darkness, Werewolf the Apocalypse. We have a 2.5 hour video that you can go watch where I bring big Coke energy to trying to describe werewolves to you. But yeah, it's a bonkers game, and it's tough to know where to get on the ride because it's just so many things flailing in every direction. But let's kind of boil it down to let's just kind of begin at the beginning and just kind of talk about some general what do people, there's the Andy traditional question of like, what do you bring to this? But I don't know that, like, if you guys haven't played giant murder rage monsters before, there's not going to be a lot that you are bringing to this, especially because it's unlike there's no Lon Chaney, there's no Cursed by the Moon, there's no Changing by Full Moon, there's none of that. You are playing SJW lefty fist fests who are here to smash literal patriarchies if they want, or go fight moon like spirits, or you can fuck up equipment at construction sites or disrupt oil pipelines. We can do whatever you want, but it is ultimately your goddess worshipping lefty eco warriors who just again become giant fur tanks.
All of that sounds really interesting. Can we do
Sounds
all
good,
of that?
doesn't it?
Just all of it at
Yeah,
once.
Let's fucking go. So, but let's start. Andy, help me navigate the
Sure.
overlay here.
CC is in the top corner, followed by Jay, and then myself.
And then
CC,
the moon.
barring
moon.
relevant, and then the moon. All right, we'll get the moon at the last. So CC, barring relevant work experience, what do you bring to this? What are you looking forward to? What's your general vibe? Let's just start there.
I was promised Oops All Lesbians, and that's what I'm here for.
Oops, all lesbians. Very doable in this system. Very doable in a werewolf game. There's a tribe of oops, all lesbians. All right, they're not all lesbians. Some of them are bi, certainly. Yeah, I mean, that's enough for me. If you want to sign off with that, that's good.
That's what I brought to the table. That's what I prepared for today. That was what I was told was the assignment.
It was the assignment, but I will take it. I will run that game. Y'all are very close to my heart right now.
Listen, I saw our last stream. That was the assignment, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no.
That's right. Who's next?
Jay.
Oh, no, me. I mean, yeah, I'm here for the Sapphic Werewolf Hour. Other than that, I'm going to bring up something weird. Like, this isn't going to be a normal character. I don't do that.
It's true. You can't play any starships in this one, so I feel safe, but I shouldn't, and I know that.
You also can't play not a werewolf.
That's true.
Because you like to play non-powered or spaceships.
I can work with you in that space, though. Really, fuck around. You can find out. Just be careful, because when everyone werewolves, it's going to be hard not to werewolf while everyone's werewolfing. If they werewolf, for instance, in the spirit world.
Well, the good news so far is the weird thing I had in mind is still a werewolf. But
Awesome.
We'll get there when we start getting into more specifics, I feel.
Awesome. And Andy,
Me, you say?
as someone who was the subject of the hostage video I made you film, where I just got to like go off about how exciting this was.
Thank you for releasing my cats, by the way.
The cops that I had to.
No, yeah, I want to rage against the machine. I want to smash any sort of institution that has historically oppressed peoples. I want to be a giant rage SJW lesbian with my boot on the throat of the patriarchy.
Fuck yeah, this is the game for you.
I'm gonna have to put a lot of ska on this playlist, aren't I?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
But no, yeah, as we established in that video, it's not like werewolf media. It's not like pop culture werewolves, so it's hard to come at. There's a Mystery Science Theater movie called Werewolf that this is sort of like, and really squinting at it in that way. But yeah, no, I enjoy werewolves. I like any sort of transformation into a usually hero. We're sort of heroes in our own story.
You certainly are likely to believe you're the heroes. Okay, and lastly, Moon. Okay,
really,
very good.
I don't think you can say that anymore, Moon. But
while Cece's away, we can just let Moon finish. Was it going somewhere better? All right, we're going to cut you off there, Moon. It did not sound like it was going anywhere better. Really sorry we invited you. All right, so let's get some baseline going, presuming you did not watch a 2.5 hour video of me talking myself back into fever pitch. So Werewolves and Werewolves the Apocalypse is a genetic thing. It's not a curse. It's not even a genetic curse. You're just a werewolf. You belong to this tribe of werewolves, which then belong to a greater werewolf society, commonly known as Garou, from the French. But yeah, you guys are the Garou. And what's more is you are Gaia, that is the Earth's champions. And I don't know if you've heard any recent news or anything, but the Earth ain't doing so fucking hot. And that 5th edition that they keep saying that they're making is well overdue. We're going to be using Werewolf 20th, by the way, for you system heads. So yeah, I can't imagine a better time to be telling werewolf games than in the slow, like, ecological collapse, while a bunch of fucking fat cats burn money cigars and profit off of it. And if that pisses you off, then it's time to fucking rage. The back of the book tends to ask you, when will you rage? Probably a couple Mondays from now, I guess. We'll work on that. But yeah, you play goddess worshipping eco-terrorists. You play... Again, this is a lefty's dream, and I would love to talk to anyone who thinks otherwise. God bless you if you are some little Nazi incel who thinks this game somehow speaks to you. I cannot imagine what you think you're reading, because you're wrong. But here we are. Debate me or whatever. Or don't. You know what? You're exhausting. So let's just kind of figure out what kind of...
Now that we may forever ban you in our chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're clear on our politics. Which is that we don't like to get political.
Keep politics out of my werewolf, please.
Keep politics out of my giant rage monster, goddess worshipping, lefty propaganda eco-terrorists. You know what I mean? I won't have it. I won't have it. Straight down the middle. I'm Joe Manchin over here. So just call them balls and strikes. All right. So there's a lot to establish. And we can start kind of anywhere, but I do kind of want to start big picture, and we'll start to hone in, and then we can talk about who you guys want to be in that. So for instance, the big wheel of woe, kind of what do we want on the charcuterie platter that is going to be this game? Because literally this, like Werewolf, again, watch the video. It is bonkers. There's spirit worlds. There's like literal toxin sludge monsters. There's like whatever you want. You fight actual Captain Planet villains, not people that like profits more than they like the environment. It's people who love pollution, like in like just a gross supervillainy cackling way. It's just stupid.
Can I punch Ivanus in the dick?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, why not?
Well, you were mentioning Captain Planet, and he's a Power Rangers, so...
Okay, yeah, you can do that too. Putties?
He loves pollution.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sure he feeds from it, or...
he mind controls adults or something. Look, the plot's not good for that movie. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm sure I'm mad at Rita Repulsa, or whatever her name is.
Is she in that movie?
I don't think she was in that movie, no.
She's in it. No, because the actress isn't actually American. Like, they just dub over a Japanese lady, usually.
Well, I don't know, because there was a movie that they got her for I just don't know if it was that one.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
But the last time I watched it was definitely over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
There was definitely a movie they got her, and she recorded her lines in English-ish, but you can tell they still dubbed over it because her lips don't quite match.
Yeah. But yeah, we can punch any amount of fat cats, pollution, worshipping, gross people. We can fight evil werewolves. We can fight evil spirits. We can negotiate with good spirits. We can be in and out of the spirit world. We can play a completely terrestrial game in a failing urban hellscape, or we can play a completely spiritual game out in the middle of the desert. We can. The whole goddamn world's our playground here. So, with the ideas of look at the news and which states are on fire and which states are underwater and which states are being blown away by wind currently. And which of those things do each of you want to punch in the face the most? We'll start at the top of Cece again.
Oh no. Why do I have to keep thinking on my toes? I hate this.
Because you're the one in the most top left place.
And this can be a discussion if you're kind of like, that's weird, guys. Like, that's fine too. Like, we can this can be a discussion. But yeah, like, just, it's a bummer, man. Like, that report from like a couple weeks ago where it's just kind of like, it's already too late. We can best hope to mitigate it by now. We've been fighting this environmentalist fight for roughly 50 years. The Guru have been fighting this increasingly faster losing fight for the entire existence of the world. It's been tens of thousands of years as they've watched it slip away. So I do think a lot of desperation, a lot of hopelessness kind of immediately pops to mind in this setting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be fun and funny and silly no matter what we do, but I do think those are things to explore. But if anybody's just kind of like, hey, I'm here for a short time, not a bad time, so if we can avoid some of that, absolutely. Stake your claims now, because otherwise that's gonna permeate somewhat, unless you guys are like, no bummers, let's fight an evil circus or something. We can fight an evil circus. That's no problem.
Oh, see, well,
evil circus of werewolves.
I do want to do
really
that.
Cool.
But the World of Darkness tends to have a certain weight to it, that does come with the territory. But again, you will find that my World of Darkness it's about dawn. You can still see each other.
For sure. No. I mean, I'm constantly pissed off about the state of our environment and how everybody's being selfish about it. So yeah, I'm totally down for including those themes. A lot of what comes to mind that's been in my newsfeed lately has been how, hey, like the polar ice caps and the moon and other things. How about countries just buy up all of that land and mine the shit out of it and then sell all the resources until there's nothing left? And it's like, haven't we been like recycling and shit and doing all this to try and prevent the decay of the polar ice? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. So that's a lot of what like dominates my news feed as far as like environmental issues. But yeah.
But remember, people at home, it's not Exxon who's known since the 70s that man absolutely had an effect on global warming. It's you for not using more paper straws. You're the villain somehow.
Also, drink less water.
Yes.
And bathe less. We need that for our hedge mazes.
That's right.
And golf courses.
Golf courses.
Oh my God.
I knew.
Reasons I will never be president is I would ban fucking golf courses and NASCAR. Y'all be fucked. And it's not because I have anything wrong with hayseeds. I love my people. I'm just saying, it's just wasteful. It's just wasteful.
You're driving in a circle for 500 laps.
Yeah.
There's actually electric racing going on now, and it is rad.
That sounds
really
One
awesome.
racing is so cool.
And
absolutely
not loud.
They
which
literally
means I like
have Mario Kart boost pads on the track. It's great.
That's
Cool.
awesome. Yeah, just drive one lap, take the mean average, and one of you wins. It's fine.
The real competition is the math being done to figure it out fastest.
That's already the competition in those fucking things. God bless. To hear a real NASCAR head go off on it. I mean, again, I'm glad that you love it. I just hate it. Not for the folksy, superficial reasons. I hate it because it's absolutely a waste of a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Just in time for Werewolf. So also note that like just politics in general can be the villain. Like any amount of just suited white people can be the villain here. It's probably mostly going to be suited white people though.
I'm from the
stuff they own.
Midwest. You know, if our environment isn't constantly being attacked here in the Midwest, like what's happening?
Yeah, it's a lot of pipelines and taking people's indigenous land out there. So
And mining and fracking and
mining and fracking.
all of your fun.
Fracking.
We're just doing it to be dicks.
That's in the intro comic of this book. Is there's a guy who's just like, I love fracking.
I think that's his literal dialogue. It's Captain Planet villains. All right, so yeah, absolutely. That's good stuff. What's let's go for just a word. I mean, we've endured two of just the worst years on the fucking planet. What's just a word that CCU associate with these last 2 years?
Selfish.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a very good one. All right. Jay, what are the things on your timeline that you want to punch the most?
I want to fuck up an oil pipeline.
Oil pipelines, for sure. For sure. I'm just going to take for granted that they run through indigenous lands. I'm just going to put that down even though you didn't say it.
That's two things kind of go hand in hand, unfortunately. Yeah. So, yeah, both those.
Now, is that like what's the biggest problems in Colorado? Is it mining or is it oil? What's your biggest?
Flip a coin, 50-50.
I'm trying to think of right now. It might still be mining. I don't know. It's either that or wildfires. So it's going to be getting worse.
I love wildfires. Someone from Pentex, probably.
I hope all the trees burn.
I just fucking hate trees. Wake up in the morning with like, just God, fucking spruce.
Spruce.
Liz in chat just screams, I love droughts.
That's actually a big one.
Yeah.
Water.
And then the water companies that take all the water from the land and then sell it back to the people of the community.
Fun fact about any bottled water company. Check on the bottle somewhere where it says the water is sourced. 90% of the time you'll see it says bottled at a municipal source. That means it's pretty much tap water that they ran through an extra filter.
Yep.
I can do that at home. I do
that at home.
I double filter my own water. Mostly because our municipal water is trying to poison us. But
it is.
Yes.
Which is also on purpose.
Yeah, I'll talk about that when it gets to my turn.
All right, and Jay, describe 2020 to about nowish to me in a word or more. You don't need it to be one word, but
I mean, I can't scream loud enough, and if I could, I'm pretty sure I'd level my entire apartment building. So yeah.
All right, inarticulate screaming it is. I'm sorry. Would you like that to be articulate screaming?
Just really emphasize the volume of it.
Okay, I will bold that and put it in italics. Very good.
Was it in all caps though? Because that's
it will be. It will be. So let me catch up. There we go.
Got a caps case that.
All right, Andy. What do you like to punch?
Or
what do you want to punch the most?
The rich. Literally eat the rich.
Mm-hmm. Eat the rich. About time somebody said it. Absolutely.
which is
Fuck 'em,
werewolf
you cannot be
good.
an ethical billionaire. And if you think otherwise, God, your brain's broke. I don't know how to explain
But
to you that you don't.
you've been tricked.
Yeah, oh my God.
Elongated muskrat is not your friend.
He for sure is not. And he's not even that clever. Oh my God. He just walked around with
No.
loose emeralds in his pocket, but he's growing up. He's a bad bloke.
He's got his apartheid money. He's a bad dude.
He is, yes.
Stop trying to pretend like he's cool because he bought things.
Actually, he's Railroad Howard Stark or Tony Stark, whichever fucking one.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
They're villains
The worst
too.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
The literal worst. The guy whom I hate.
The villains. All right, so yeah, the rich. I mean, fuck them. I think that's clear. So let's see. Again, I got a lot of profits over people in this. A lot of the people profiting from, our ecological collapse. They are both making the money off of what's causing it to collapse, and then also making the money off of the back end of selling you the things it takes to survive the collapse of the ecology that they created. All while probably replacing their Twitter icon with some woke slogan they paid a 20-year-old in exposure to write for them.
They put a border around their profile pic.
That Twitter.
That's the energy I need, Jay. Very good.
But as I alluded to, the water in my area was poisoned by the government because they were doing. I live right near an air base, and they would do drills where they would basically put out fires using a chemical they knew was dangerous that seeped into the ground. And then the government just said, that doesn't sound like our problem. That's your problem. And then charged us to fix it. So it just inept bureaucracy. Cold and cruel. It has since been sort of fixed, I will say that, by a local politician who has made it basically will be elected forever based solely on, I fixed it, everyone. And a couple people have tried to challenge him on it, like, well, we could fix it better. And they're like, well, did you? Because I fixed it.
So
I have a politician who has done a thing. Do you have any fucking idea how rare that is?
Like, and yeah, no, I think he will never not be elected. But, and again, he did it. Like, where everyone else literally said, well, it can't be done. He was just like, I'm pretty sure the government owes us a bunch of money.
Yeah, your local politicians have your better interest at heart. Or more, sorry, but I mean better, I mean more than every rung up from that. I don't necessarily mean that they're good blokes who have your best intentions at heart. I just mean they have better intentions usually because you can drive past their house. It's very easy. Now, it's very illegal for me to suggest that you drive by your local politician's house. That's very illegal.
What if your local politician is Greg Pence, Mike Pence's least liked brother?
Oh, that's like being the least liked Bush.
Now, it would be very illegal and immoral for you to suggest that people drive past their house slowly with their lights off. That would be wrong, and really, don't do that. I said that. Everyone heard me say that the first time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. Trevor Moore for that bit. So, Andy, 2020 to now, you describe it as...
Boy, selfish and inarticulate screaming were both very good.
Pretty good. Good. If I showed you 10 increasingly frowny faces, would that help you determine?
Yeah, I draw 10 more.
Okay. Yep.
It's a scale of -20 on a 1 to 10
This
scale.
is Werewolf. If you're going to break scales and go over your limit, it's a good system for it.
Yeah, I think I just have no faith in anything anymore. I know that's more than one word, but...
no faith in anything anymore is, it's right there.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you had asked me like 3 years ago if I thought people were inherently good, the answer would have been yes. And now it's a resounding no. No, I don't. I think a person can be good, people are bad.
Yeah. Robert Evans is hosting a series of podcasts where he does try to end on hopeful notes that people are good at communities. And that's always, I hate zombie fiction. Andy, you may have heard some of my bits on why I hate zombie fiction so much. But it's always because that's not how it works. Humans very good at forming groups and societies and caring for one another. That's how we became human beings that have lived this long. Boy, this last 2 fucking years has really caused me to be like, oh shit, I have too much faith in people. As you say, persons can be good, people writ large, man, they just, and especially Americans, I don't want to get political, but America sucks. Yeah. White people are awful. Smash the patriarchy, and it's impossible to be an ethical billionaire. Without getting political.
None of this has been political, as far as I know.
No, nonsense.
Also, real quick, fuck TERFs. So.
Oh, wow.
You're my favorite person. I was about to say, can we throw trans rights in there?
Absolutely.
Hell
fuck
yeah.
TERFs.
Makes me very happy.
Yeah. Sorry, the boat's not getting more crowded, ladies. Move the fuck over. Joanne. Talk more about you later.
Look, if one of the villains of the piece is popular children's wizard authoress, like
not
DK,
wizard, intellectual distinct sorcerer.
Yes. Sorcerer.
Right, that's right.
It's popular sorcerer, DJ. I don't know, crawling. It's just I have no problem with that.
She's running her 3-ring circus.
Why? Your favorite character is Reader Skeeter? Like, why? Oh, God.
That's a note now, by the way. DJ Crawling, children's author of young adult sorcerer fiction. Because I would like to point out that Black Dog Games is a arm of Pentex, as is whatever their comics line is. Sorry, I don't have it on hand, but Pentex does have a comics line where they corrupt children or make them into monsters or something, I'm sure. As well as empty calorie candy bars coming to a vending machine near you that's probably put in your school because people shouldn't make people food. Not when you can replace them with vending machines. All of this so far.
We all got mad at Michelle Obama for that for some reason. Not us, but people.
No.
Once again, people.
No. No commie Obama's going to make me eat vegetables. What the fuck are you actually saying? So, all of this has been perfectly werewolf so far, by the way. Sorry, we're getting big energy. Go ahead.
When I went to school, they served us something called mac sticks, which were simply a piece of pizza crust with cheese filled in them. And that was a main course that we were just fed. That's not anything. That's an appetizer at best that you split with a table.
Yeah, that's
what you give your dog when you're done with your pizza.
We ordered a stuffed crust pizza for the school, and we kept the pizza and gave the kids the crust.
Yeah. And yet at the same time, these school lunches are sometimes the only people that food insecure people get. So, yeah. What else can we get angry about? This is all big werewolf energy, you guys. You guys are delivering. I love it.
What else can we get angry about? Oh, what else can we get angry about?
Yeah. DJ Crawling's on the list.
Infrastructure.
School lunches is on the list.
Trains should be better.
Did you say rain should be better?
Trains.
Okay.
Yes.
I kind of like rain should be better.
Well, rain should be better. Stop trying to destroy my house.
Drains, and trains all should be better.
Yeah. Tell it to stop raining in my house.
For instance.
I was actually very lucky, but...
Rains, drains, and trains should
I
all
live
be
in Pennsylvania.
better.
I shouldn't have to worry about tornadoes.
You shouldn't. All right, so yeah, I'm starting to get a good pulse here. Okay, so... Let's talk location. Every realtor who is almost certainly part of a predatory lending system will ask you and tell you the same thing. Location. Werewolf fits everywhere. There's no place that can't take werewolves. There's no place werewolves can't fit. I think the stereotype, so to speak, the traditional you're getting some buddies together to play some werewolf. A lot of time it's whatever your city park is. It's your city center that's still got a park in it, and you're kind of surrounded by the Weaver structures and everything like that. If I use any terms, CC or Jay, you're not familiar with, just be like, hey, quick define that. But
I had enough crash courses in World of Darkness systems that I should be able to hold along. Like the World of Darkness system, we have our specific version of whatever. I think it's the Veil in our case.
It is the Veil. Very good. Yes. Or the Delirium is the protecting part. The Veil is the part you have to go through. But yes, it's close enough.
Quick question, Marty. Park? City?
Yes.
You said city park.
I did say city park. That is a patch of green where they put their trees in cages that they treat like kind of a plant zoo.
The oddities that they are.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
No, so we can go big city anywhere. We can do that. Most major cities do have some kind of thanks to Teddy Roosevelt. There's some kind of green somewhere saved in a separate browser.
Does Philadelphia?
They do.
They have that new one that's terrible.
I've seen it in aerial shots.
That
and you can still go to Penn's Treaty Park, which is just basically most of a parking lot at this point. Very important meeting between Penn and Tamanend that you should look up. It's actually really inspiring before the whole country went to shit. That was 16 something. Anyway, America's great and we're all patriots. And anyway, so we can do big city. We can do small little methed out town. We can do slightly larger methed out town. Again, super big into my two influences of the last 24 hours are Reservation Dogs and Life is Strange, True Colors, and both are very small towns, but from very different perspectives. One has a lot of beating heart and vibrant personalities, and the other is just, man, we're living each day for each other and tomorrow. Like, what else do we got? And I think that fits a lot of Werewolf. But yeah, I if we're looking for oops all lesbians, I think
No, oops all lesbians. Intentional all lesbians.
Sorry, we're gonna be playing yay all lesbians.
There we go.
Yeah.
Absolute goal all lesbians. But yeah, because absolutely, again, we're talking about just the lefty fan fiction that is Werewolf. So I definitely think that like women's shelter would be an absolutely great like focus for a werewolf group, especially when they're kind of losing traction in the world. But that can literally be on any like strip mall in any suburban to rural to whatever community. We can do trailer park, we can do high rises in big city. So really, when you're kind of closing your eyes and picturing these kind of proto characters or these ideas that you have, you don't have to pick just one because we're going to try and take the mean average of the group. But kind of, where's a good werewolf spot? Even pick two to kind of give us some margins here. And Cece, I'm sorry, you're first.
No problem. So my mind kind of goes to more of like maybe it's just because you said Life is Strange, but kind of like a more Pacific Northwest kind of a setting seems very appropriately werewolf. But to kind of go for the Midwestern version, maybe that I'm more familiar with of a Pacific Northwest type setting, and especially saying women's shelter, I always think of Marquette, which is up in the UP of Michigan. I have a cousin that works at a women's shelter up there in Marquette, so that's why it's making me. It's very much kind of, like I said, it's like Pacific Northwest vibes, but just in the middle of nowhere. It takes forever to get there, Michigan. Like, okay. Super deep woods. Like, why would you live here? Because you can't leave in the winter.
Right.
Kind of stuff.
Okay, very good.
Also, like, Marquette is like a super hippy-dippy town. Like, lots of, like, liberal stuff going on in there. Like, definitely a lot of crystals being traded for things up there. Like, it's that
Sure.
kind of town.
Now, do they have a native population that still exists in the area, or were they all shipped off by Andrew Jackson with smallpox blankets? Or
I would
sorry,
assume
America's great.
I would assume that they still do, but I am not familiar enough with the area to give you an 100% yes or no on
That's
that.
all right. We're probably safer to not guess.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I've got kind of Pacific Northwest, Pines and Whaling Fishing Town was kind of like just based on the first Life is Strange was kind of where I first went. And then Marquette, UP. It's an abbreviation of
Upper
Michigan.
Peninsula.
Upper Peninsula, right. It's the part where you have to drive south to go to Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's where all the Yoopers are.
America's great.
Right. Very good. And yeah, I like that big swings in temperature. Very, very weather isolated during periods of the year, for sure. That's a good.
There's only one bridge going in and out of there, like out of a whole big chunk of land. Like, if you can't go across that bridge, you aren't going anywhere. You can take your snowmobile across the lake, probably. Don't worry about it, Andy. Gosh, they're not stranded up there.
Yeah, they're being weird, Andy.
God, it's just Philadelphia's got like 7 unnecessary bridges. Like, why?
3-bridge piece of shit town. All right, very good. I like a lot of the coloring lines we've got there. Jay.
Hi.
Werewolves.
So there is literally a ranch operating out of Westcliff, Colorado, called Tenacious Unicorn that is a trans sanctuary.
I'm familiar with it by reputation only. So it's west where?
Westcliff, Colorado. It's south. I want to say west of I-25, sort of in a little. I think it's west of Pueblo, about an hour. But up against the mountains, beautiful place, surrounded by a lot of right-wing Trump supporters. America's fantastic.
It sure is. All right, so trans rescue in enemy territory. Gonna be my note there. I like that. If you don't have a second, you're forgiven because that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good opening shot there. I like that a whole bunch. Yeah, between the two of these, we could get a militia thing going for anybody who wants to rend fucking trash.
By by the way, one of their things is about being armed is important.
It would have to be. Lefties with guns is something that I am slow to embrace, but I follow a number of lefties with guns, and I'm trying.
Yeah,
lefties with guns.
Who needs guns when you can turn into a giant wolf monster?
Yeah,
goddamn right.
Because not everyone we help can.
Yeah, I just meant we don't.
No. Other than that, another question I had was kind of time period. It looks like we're going for modern day from the sound of things so far.
So far, but if anyone wants to make a push, I'm open. Again, I'm making my notes now. It was a blank sheet of paper before we started. So if anyone wants to be like, hey, the 90s was rad, or the early aughts was cool, or I'd actually like to play in the 70s, I'm open to any of that. It'll just take a little bit more research. Not really.
I'd eat JP Morgan.
Dude, JP Morgan is for sure an early Pentex board member. You need to know.
To turn it back around, do you want us to have cell phones? That's always the good time period question.
Hey, I can put you in one of those cell phone dead zones.
How horror movie dead zone?
Yeah.
God
and
damn
also,
AT&T. I'm gonna eat
also
them.
they're not going to work in the spirit world. So as soon as you guys step through
can't I have magic cell phones? The comic had a magic cell phone in it.
If you play a Glasswalker only.
I do. Oh, no. I was thinking
Hey, guess what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay.
then you can have a magical spirit cell phone
Okay.
because you can talk to spirits of cell phones, basically.
Ghost phone.
I'm cool with whatever. I know that's shocking. I was thinking modern day, but again, the 80s were terrible, and no one had the internet to connect everyone and kind of make it all as public. It was just greed is good. I guess we think that now. Cool.
Yeah.
We don't. You know that movie's not about that, right? Like it's about he's still the bad guy. Everyone. No, we don't know that. Cool.
Weird. Wait, a movie everyone took the wrong lesson from? Because it's Fight Club?
Or American Psycho?
All I know is Huey Lewis in the News is great. That's what I got from that movie. Yeah, because actually, I think
And
we've
business
got...
cards. Business cards are really important.
Yes.
Business cards are running a plot.
Is that a raincoat?
Games.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, what did I say? Someone re-edited...
Is it Pokemon?
That's-
I know what you're talking about.
I think it was Pokemon or something. It
Yeah.
was something where everyone was just kind of like, oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
real good.
It was cat photos. It was cat,
Cat photos,
on
yes.
cell
Okay.
The
phones.
version I saw. It was cat photos.
That's
yes.
awesome. I've seen the Pokemon cards one, and it's very funny, but I like cat photos better.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, because I think so far what we've got, we can definitely do isolation, and then the weather knocks out the power, which knocks out the infrastructure. That's the failing infrastructure brought back. I can isolate you guys if I need to. I'm not that worried about that. But again, if anyone wants to play in a different time period, absolutely. But yes, to long-windedly answer your question, Jay, I was picturing a very modern, like 5 minutes in the future or 5 minutes in the past kind of setting. But I can be argued off of that if anyone wants to.
Hey, no, I like that.
You got
This may I don't coronavirus. How do we want to ignore it or like
You mean-
2019? Like, do we want to set it in 2019 or do we want to deal with it? I'm good either way. I'm just asking. I don't.
You mean
want
vaccine supplied by Pentex? You gonna inject that in your arm?
I don't like.
Pure bloods.
I don't like.
There's
those.
no problematic history of that. You fucking tools. Just get the fucking vaccine, you idiots. Jesus Christ. I'm doing my own research. No, you're not. You're reading a fucking email.
I love. Are you going to do a double-blind study that's been peer-reviewed? Because you're
Yeah,
not.
You're gonna read the headline and be like, I don't know, I heard Nicki Minaj's cousin's nuts are huge or whatever, and you're gonna just kick out.
Good
Like,
for him.
yeah, you know what? That chick who left you at the altar, she's missing out, man. Everyone likes big nuts. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. As long as we're not playing. Well, we will be playing over Zoom, basically. But like, I don't want to like pretend like we're playing over Zoom.
Werewolf over Zoom.
Nope. Yep. Absolutely.
All right.
Zoom moot meetings. This is this is it. This is our Zoom meeting episode. Even though we're literally that.
I can't hear you, Red Fang. You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted. He's just howling. He's just howling. I don't even know why we invented. He ate the camera. God damn it, Red Fang! Every meeting with this shit. Andy, tell me where you want your eco-terrorist, jackbooted lesbian werewolves to be.
As I'm going last, I get to say things like, I like every suggestion so far.
The worst.
But
Go first, Andy. Come on.
I put myself last for a reason.
You do have that power,
Yes.
yes.
This is what happens when I don't make the overlays.
But we still have to see what the moon says. So
That's right. Right.
Um,
We put the moon on mute because it's gotten really weird.
it
But
has not stopped talking this whole time.
yeah, we've saved you at home. We can hear.
It's a lot of theories about Kathy Ireland.
Oh my god. Moon landings don't melt steel beams. We get it.
You guys are totally an inverted donut. I can see it from up here.
You're on the back of 5 elephants riding on a giant floating I one of my characters, I have kind of the tribes that appealed to me were Bonar, Children of Gaia, and Glasswalker. So something even remotely suburban-y would probably be good. I thought maybe Pittsburgh would be fun since that's where our vampire game was set. As I was talking to you pre-stream, and there's an episode of the most recent episode of What We Do in the Shadows is about this. Any kind of shitty shore town in New Jersey is immediately appealing to me. Of just an absolute urban blight. Atlantic City's terrible, like it just is. But I do like the idea that we could be isolated via weather or something else. That sounds fun and scary.
Suburban decay, Pittsburgh ? Shore town in Jersey, glitzy, punching above their weight towns. So I kind of abbreviated your thinking there. Okay. All right. Not necessarily consensus there, but I think we have 2 out of 3 where isolation is easily done. It doesn't necessarily need to be the story we're telling, but boy, I've got some ideas already, so we'll have to start putting some guardrails up.
Do you kind of like the idea of if we're all together? Yeah. My brain just shut down mid-thought. Give me a second.
Reboot. You try turning it on and turning it back off again. Or the other way around.
Turning it back off again. It's still not working. Sorry, Jay.
Of kind of us having a more like direct rural setting where we kind of operate, and then we go into a town that's more sort of the idea of like the shitty longshore town that Andy was talking about. Like have a little bit of both there, because being isolated, you don't necessarily be isolated all the time. Yeah.
No, and certainly, everyone's got town to go to town, even if that town is a town over or whatever, or it's the only one with an open superstore of some kind that almost certainly is itself demoralizing Pentex branch. All right, there's some stuff to work with here. So we've brought up a couple near to political topics. I feel like we've been pretty fair, just calling balls and strikes. We're Joe Manchin over here. So far, I feel like we've been real chill about things we do and don't care about. So I would like to go over a few lines and veil stuff. It's good in a session 0. I'm pretty much everything on the table, but I am an old white. And so I feel very unattacked by a lot of things, even though there are certainly things that I feel attacked by. I like exploring things that make me feel uncomfortable. I like fantasy and such as allegories for real world issues. I don't think that's very popular right now, so I will certainly lay off whatever we want to lay off. But I do just kind of want everyone to be able to kind of like, hey, transphobia is a real thing in the real world. I actually don't want to portray that. Now, I would then argue, what if it was a cartoonishly villainous version of J.K. Rowling we could punch in the face? Would that be cool? But yes. We can discuss it. There we go. Because
if I get to punch them in the face.
Very good. That's very easily done. You can be 10 foot tall when you do it.
Hell yeah.
So, and again, World of Darkness works best as it's our world, but worse. Like, so imagine that. First off, that's tough to do. But yeah,
I don't want to imagine that.
No, it's tough. It's tough. And after these couple years, we should all be allowed to not do that. But so that comes with the territory. At the same time, if there's anything like, look, I at least want the permission to kick out of it. If you're doing something and I said, I'm okay with it, and then you start getting somewhere weird, I want to be able to hold up a card or something, and I will absolutely stop. I'm not, when I want to push boundaries, it's not to push anyone's buttons, it's to get there together and explore something safely. if anyone doesn't feel safe, it's done. That's the end of it immediately anyway. So that's my first umbrella statement. None of this would be designed to be like edgelordy kind of like, let's see where we can go. I'm too old for that shit by now. Maybe when I was 15, we would have been in that territory. But again, if there's absolutely any like, dude, no, then it's dude, no. If there's anything like, I'm willing to play in certain spaces, but I want you on a short leash. That's fine too. So let's go in reverse order. Andy?
Oh, what?
No. Skipping the
Someone
moon?
was talking some shit about being in control of the...
I've been hoisted by my own petard. That's not how that works.
Ow, my hubris!
It hurts.
Like you, Marty, I am usually okay with it. I'm pretty much okay with whatever, only because usually, and I know you, the bad thing will be obviously bad, and they're the bad guy, and they will get their comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm really pretty flexible in regards to that. And if something is making me uncomfortable, I certainly feel comfortable telling you, hey, could you please knock it off?
Yeah, and I feel like I know your boundaries where I wouldn't need to come close to them before you had to tell me to back off. But that's still good to know, and thank you very much for your trust in that regard. Jay, is there anything you're like, absolutely not, please?
Not off the top of my head. I also trust you pretty good about boundaries, and even if you did start going very far, I'm pretty sure if I like red carded you, you would stop and
100%.
back off. So,
Right. Be open. Ready with a red card if necessary.
Oh, I
All
don't
right.
like wolves. Is that important?
That was going to be
Yeah,
my
probably.
joke, Andy.
Sorry. Damn it. Sorry.
Before you in the draft, damn it.
got scooped.
Fantastic. We're gonna count it. Both of you get a point.
Now
Yeah,
my
see,
line is
other than
wears,
wolves,
okay? What
I
about
don't like
wears?
spirit worlds, and I don't like wolves. Also, I don't like eco terrorists.
Also, I think Dave
Don't
Filoni's
like the
stupid.
supernatural at all.
I prefer a very grounded game about participating in society.
We live in a society.
That's right.
That's what I've heard. No, kind of like the other two. I pretty much trust you to know where the line is, and not cross it, or be able to flag you down if I feel like you're getting close to it. So
Yeah, I don't intend to get that close to it. I want everyone to have a good time. And again, thank all of you for your trust in that regard. And absolutely, if you feel like you need a physical manifestation of it, or just in chat, just be like, dude, stop. Absolutely. I will keep my eyes out for that kind of stuff. But again, I'm not looking to challenge anyone's whole worldview, but we brought up some sensitive issues that could be interesting to get near. I've already got a couple favorites, and we'll review them in a second. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'd like to review before we start getting into some umbrella pitches, and we can kind of adjust them as we go. And then we'll kind of get into characters. We've got a decent window left. So I can tell you some things that kind of like, as we discuss them, some things that jump out of the page at me. I like, we've discussed crumbling infrastructure. We've discussed weather disasters. We've discussed kind of extreme weather in general. So I do think being able to kind of like isolate can be a fun little 2-hour like bottle game, because you guys would be stuck in an area where you'd be desperate to run whatever mission it is. I see. I really love the Unicorn Ranch idea. I love the idea of being in enemy territory. I love the idea of kind of having it's you versus the wolves, proverbially at the gate, which aren't you. They're these militia assholes with their dumb flags, which follow none of the flag regulations, by the way. You fucking flag fetishists have never read the goddamn articles that pertain to the piece of cloth you fucking claim to worship, because you guys are all over disrespecting it.
It bothers me so much.
It's the hypocrisy.
It's the hypocrisy, because
yeah,
like, why are you flying it off the back of your truck? Like, what are you doing?
that blue line you put on it is not part of the original design. You're disrespecting the thing you claim to like. Anyway, so yeah, I think we're of a page there. So I kind of like a, you know, I'm going to lay the game pitch out and we can start turning knobs after this. But kind of, I like the idea of a protection ranch. It can be straight up trans. It can be women in general, including trans women, of course. Whatever. You guys have some kind of cause-headed protectorate or home or thing. And you're surrounded by all the shitheads on the news that we don't care for. This will not be targeted in any particular region because they're everywhere. They're ignorant, and I pray someday they see the light. That time is not now. It's the Tenacious Universe, and I will look at that link because I could also
a lot of media spots. So
yeah, and you know what? I'll bet you they could use some money.
Yes.
So I kind of like the idea. We can have an extreme weather emergency. We've got kind of the enemy, certainly under the veil of some kind of Pentex goon or another. Do not be surprised if DJ Crawling is there in person somehow. Turfy little witch that they are. Opportune for face punches. But absolutely, I kind of like that idea. It's embattled. We can have some cool NPCs, but it's not a huge sprawling thing that you guys are going to have to negotiate like of tons of characters, but everyone can add their own and we can kind of work out some key personnel. And then we have a bunch of bad guys and we can have 2 hours of kind of chips and beer fun of just kind of like, this is going to start with the chack of a shotgun somewhere and we're going to go. That's kind of like what I'm seeing on the billboard just with everything you guys have given me so far. But absolutely feel free to turn knobs. If you guys are like, I love that already, we can start talking characters. If you guys are like, yeah, but I want this added or that added, or can we have this character, or can we make the bad guys more morally complicated, or whatever. If you guys had anything to tag on to that, please do. But that's where my mind's going right away, looking at the notes we have so far. We can play with it in any direction. And go to keep this a little organized. Let's just kind of go by name, but again, feel free to crosstalk and start throwing out ideas at this point too. But let's go right to Jay and mix it up with just going from the middle out.
No, I was in the most middle. I thought I was safe.
You should have put on your lines and veils. I'm just saying.
Don't go first.
Don't go. I don't want to go first.
No, I'm pretty much down for what you described, so.
Okay. Start
I don't know
making
if I
notes
have any notes as of right now for it.
Let me just make some notes about that.
We make notes about not having notes.
Yeah.
Just making a note.
No, like, let me punch transphobes in the face and make them, like, just... I also trust you to not accidentally make our villains look cool. So
No, especially if that's our villain. They're going to be cartoonishly... They're going to have bat wings by the end of it. Do not worry. But not cool bat wings. Shitty
cool bat wings. The, like...
like
stereotypical 80s movie, high school journal, scribble on.
Yeah.
How cops are rad.
Yeah, sorry your dad was mean, Joanne. Like, everyone's dad is mean sometimes. Like, fucking get over it and don't take it out on other people. Get a journal, Joanne. Anyway, not that we're talking about anyone specifically. Sorry, Doanne. Joanne Crawling.
Joanne Crawling.
Cece. Do you have any knobs you want to turn? You want this, that, or not this, that? Anything like that?
No. It all pretty much sounds good. Like, what we've kind of been talking about and going for. That seems like the culmination of all the things that we're kind of wanting. My only kind of addition, which we've been kind of like alluding to, but I just want to make sure that it's definitely part of the pitch, is I do definitely want to punch some patriarchy You
Punch
know,
some patriarchy, punch some turfs. Yeah, punch some patriarchy, punch some turfs.
You'd be surprised that those are the same thing.
They are absolutely
Yep.
the same thing.
It's not surprising.
Yeah, the F in turf is very dubious at that point. Once you've gone that far down with the ship, you go, oh my god, you are absolutely just being a mouthpiece of the same systems that oppressed you, and you're just picking another person to bully like that makes you part of the cool kids club. Like, fucking stop. Absolutely not. I don't like politics in my role-playing games. Anyway, punch some patriarchy, punch some turfs. That's the
I don't think we are, but it would be interesting to see if we like lost a follower because of this episode.
Why I never.
Oh,
what? This is what they
came
think.
for.
if you leave because
dare.
of this episode, good. Fuck you. Get out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, look, I don't have a ton. I mean, we're going a little heavy, but yeah, I think we all believe
again,
it. So
yeah,
I'm not
I don't think
misrepresenting
we're-
myself.
I do not think we've ever hidden who we are. We've ended the last 2 years of episodes saying like Black Lives Matter, don't be racist, get a vaccine. Like we really aren't hiding it. We did lose one follower at some point, and I think it's because they didn't like our Star Wars shows.
No, come on.
Yeah, whatever.
They're very good
Star Wars shows are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, punch the
Granted,
patriarchy.
I'm
punch the
biased because I'm on all of our Star Wars
Yeah.
shows, but
and
But they are
killing
great.
it. Gamoran's swoop bike lesbian is just the best pitch I've ever heard. And you're crushing it, Jay. Andy, things to turn up, things to turn down, things to turn all around. And again, this is not the last word any of us need to say about it, by the way. Of course, we can come back and be like, oh, a week later, I thought of this, or on my way to the fridge, I remembered.
No, I think you, as we said earlier, understood the assignment. I think you've coalesced everything we've talked about, and you get it. Like, we're going to punch a many-wanged demon of the patriarchy, whose mouthpiece is DJ Crowling.
DJ Crowling. Very good. And patriarchy, demon, and DJ Crowling. Okay, very good. I think we've got a pretty firm base to start. Talking a little character.
Elon Musk.
Oh, go ahead.
I also hate Elon Musk. So if
elongated muskrat.
Elongated muskrat. I'm sorry. Elongated muskrat.
Yes, that's his full name.
His full name.
I
think I made that clear earlier, but I cannot stand him. I mean, obviously Jeffrey Bezos is also awful, but any billionaires. I think we said billionaires. I just wanted to make it double clear.
Yeah, and Jeff Bezos is clearly a bad guy. I don't think there's anybody. But
he's straight up
the
Lex
cult of
Luthor.
person.
Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah. But the cult of personality around elongated muskrat is the weirdest part of just kind of like, how are we coming around to this guy being good? He's got apartheid jewels in his goddamn pocket. Like, just like
apartheid jewels in his pocket. He's now having his own cobalt mine. So really, he's kind of just his dad again.
Yeah, it's just I just don't get how you can think he's cool. He didn't invent anything. He's just sort of a big idiot.
He doesn't even have a cool South African accent. Like, there's like really like rad, easy to make fun of like South African accents. They're fun and jaunty and like overpronounced vowels. That's great. You are not that.
I always think he's like Dutch or something. Which I mean,
it's right. I mean,
makes sense, but
genetic stock and all that. But yeah, it's very. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Dutch.
And again, not that there's anything wrong with that. There's only two things I hate in this world.
Can't stand in this world. People who can't respect other people's cultures and the Dutch.
That movie is very mediocre, except for that bit.
That's a classic for a reason. Okay. So yeah, let's fucking start talking about characters. And it's funny to me that in the Yay All Lesbians game, not one of you has mentioned Black Furies yet. I hear Glasswalkers, we've got Bone Gnars, which is great because, again, I think it's understanding the assignment to be like, oh yeah, I could play the stereotype version of this, or I could just be a jackbooted lesbian of another tribe.
One of my backup tribes was Black Furies for sure. Like, for one of the characters in particular. But as I was kind of chewing on it, it was just like, I think I like Bone Gnars better, just because I mean that is kind of where I
chewing
live.
on it.
As
or
I
gnawing
that was,
on it.
Oh, see. That's
A.
I changed my mind. I don't want to play anymore. So no.
Filling in for Andy will now be a different phase of the moon.
Hopefully they're not as chatty. But no, sorry, Marty. Let's talk about the thing.
Yeah,
you
let's
talk
talk.
about.
Let's talk about some characters. And hit me up. I will have trusted you guys to do at least minimally some of your own research, but I can absolutely nameplate every tribe. I can nameplate everything. I can talk about strengths and weaknesses. I'm prepared to do that. If you guys have prepared any, like, I looked down the list and this, and this interested me. I know, CC, you frustratingly had to 15 seconds to your way through most of the video before you're like, oh my God, these motherfuckers still haven't talked about tribes. I apologize.
It's like an
2
hour
hours and 20 minutes of
minutes
fucking
in.
chaos. Yeah. It's a great video. Everyone should look it up. Let's go at a two times speed. You're fine.
I do.
I was
It
at
only
1.5.
increases the coked up energy.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. By the way, I am not actually on cocaine. I was not on cocaine for that video. I'm just that excited about werewolves.
Oh, I thought you were talking about cola.
Yes.
Lots and lots of Coke
Very-
with coffee.
Very serious.
Oh, Pepsi Cola.
Pepsi Cola. America's favorite brand. All right, well, this is tough to start because you can't necessarily, but if everyone's got a character sheet in front of them, for sure, and if anybody needs me to walk you through the White Wolf version of character creation or refresh you on it, I can absolutely do that. We can do that live. But let's hear, Andy, you said you've got 3. Let's hear kind of basic concepts and we can start to hone in on them. Or if you're like, boom, fully armored from the head of Zeus, here we go, off the dome. Cece. Stepping up.
I do have a question before
course.
Andy launches into his 3 concepts because he's absolutely going. So when I was watching the previous stream, and starting to think of like which thing I would want to do and kind of trying to think of character concept stuff, I wanted to ask a question about like the differences between this and vampire, because in vampire, it seems like your everyday kind of persona is also very important to your character. And I was wondering, because it didn't seem to be, from what I was understanding and reading, as important to this character, but maybe I'm reading that vibe incorrectly. So I wanted to get your kind of take on that.
Awesome observation. Yes, because inherent in vampire is a certain duplicity.
Mm-hmm.
Inherent is that you put forward one thing, but the predator within is saying another thing or whatever. They still stick with the same nature demeanor system. So they're still very much the person you really are versus the person that you say you are. And I still continue to love that and laud it of this system above all else. But it's less, you're not, whereas with vampire, I think it's an intentional manipulation or an intentional obscuration of it. In werewolf, it's much more like, you could be kind of a bravo personality, but really you're, a coward would probably be too extreme, but like actually you're covering a lot of insecurities or whatever. I think you can still kind of have that. I'm going to stake out pretty early that I think you guys are probably the sole werewolves, unless you want an NPC otherwise, but you guys are probably more or less, your pack is 3.
Okay. Because that was going to be my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Was in vampire, it seems like your clan or whatever is very like the survival of your clan and them moving up in the world or whatever is very important to your motivations as a character. Is it more? It's going to be just us 3 centric, maybe an NPC or 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So our motivations are much more centralized in the survival of that pack.
In vampires, you create individuals who the poor storyteller has to somehow tie together long enough to get something done. In werewolves, you guys are a pack. Even if you don't like each other, you're a pack. And you are a family and you fight together for common cause, a common spirit. Something brings you guys together. I think we've got a pretty good outline of what that can be. Okay. And you can still be like, I reject it. I don't wish to be here, but the pack is here and you guys are the only werewolves in 50 square miles, so I don't have a lot of options. Like, you can choose to play that and create some interesting friction with it. But in general, the pack, in fact, by the end of this stream, maybe even I will have asked you guys who's the alpha for the most part, so we can kind of determine that as we go. But yeah, so yes, you still have a nature and demeanor. They are probably less far apart than I think naturally your vampire characters would be. They're probably more aligned, unless again you want to be putting on a false face for some other reason. You project false confidence because you're too young of an alpha, right? Like the previous alpha died, they knew everything, and here you are, this young pup who is in charge of like maybe one of your packmates is even older than you and you feel really in their shadow. So you put on this bravo personality, but actually you're insecure. Whatever. We can play with that. That's great. And the system works really well with it. But I do think there's less natural duplicity to werewolves than there is with vampires, especially because it's a favorite observation. I'm probably stealing it from Terry Pratchett, but if not, I've always liked it, which is the idea that dogs are terrible liars to other dogs. Because it's all smell based. If you're scared, other dogs are like, yeah, that dude's scared. Like, why are we don't need to pretend like they're not or whatever. Same is kind of true with werewolves. If you're showing weakness or showing fear or showing whatever, your packmates are going to know it and hopefully be there for you or whatever. But yeah, you're not going to get away with lying to werewolves very long. So I don't think that survives the play experience very long either.
Okay, cool.
But that's a great observation and a great question. Thank you for it.
I think another way to look at it in terms of vampire pretty specifically is vampire is literally Vampire the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That duplicity is pretty central. It's in the title.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And werewolves, especially in this age, are desperate and don't have time for that. Like, again, the idea of like make more metas because you know what? Right now we just need warriors. Let's just fucking churn out werewolves. Like, I know it's our first pillar, but y'all better start banging. We need warriors.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Yeah, very good. And again, feel free to ask if you're like, hey, I heard 3 that interested me. Is there any that are better or not? But you did point out that Andy bragged as far as I'm concerned. He was really putting it out there that he has
really
3 whole
about
concepts.
it.
3 whole
He
concepts.
just
Three whole
he
concepts.
couldn't. I'm surprised that he's kept quiet about him for this long. To be honest,
Honestly.
Made 3 whole concepts. I did the homework. I did the extra credit. I did the extra credit.
Yeah. We're 5 minutes to the end of class, and Andy raised his hand and was like, is there any homework? Like, come on.
What about the homework that we were supposed to turn in?
Weren't we supposed to have a test today?
Come on, Andy. We're almost out of here.
It's the substitute teacher.
Shut up. I'm only I think I'm going to talk about 2 of them because the third one was like a backup that I was just like if need be, but I would prefer one of
yeah,
these
now
2.
that we've called you out on it, downplay it.
I'll talk about all of them.
Attaboy.
Okay. I mean, look, it's not even half of this little piece of paper. So, okay. So the first one was Bone Gnar, but I feel like I can't say that word. Bone Gnar. Kind of bikery. So but like, you know, an electric motorcycle kind of thing. But and probably the and forgive me because I don't remember the auspice names, but like the spiritualist one, so like talking to trash spirits and stuff, and kind of a lot of homeless outreach and that kind of stuff, but yet talking to the spirits that nobody else wants to talk to because they're still spirits, you dumbasses. Like, and just a lot of jackbooted lesbian SJW.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wears a t-shirt that says literally "Eat the Rich." Bunch of, you know, denim vest with a bunch of like 1% for outlaw biker gang shit, and fuck you, fuck your patriarchy, fuck the police, because fuck the police.
And you had 2 more characters because
this
I don't
one
see
was
a reason for
this one was my favorite, and that is why I am leading with it.
Okay.
It's the one I want to play the most. But
and unhoused outreach affects tons of trans kids a year, so
Yes.
that's not out of reach. After my absolute favorite, you had a second idea?
The second one was Children of Gaia, and sort of a TikTok Druid Girl Autumn. That's what I wrote down. Of just kind of into crystals and
I really do like the Children of Gaia.
and like just kind of modern witch stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not even necessarily like a practicing Wiccan, but like I don't know. I get this stuff on TikTok a lot where it's sort of witch aesthetic without the religion or the spirituality tied to it.
Well, either way, as a guru, you actually know the real shit.
Right, exactly.
So,
it's like that's aesthetic, and it's I have a different actual spirituality that I can project onto it. Crystals maybe do work, crystal spirits, stuff like that. And she would be a judge or spiritualist.
Mm-hmm. And real quick, let's kind of posterize that real quick. You have 3 basic categories that you have to select your character from. One is breed. That is literally you were born of human stock, you were born of wolf stock, or you were born of wolf and werewolf stock, which are mules, by the way. You cannot breed true, but at this point we need warriors. So your parents definitely committed a sin, like an actual like pillar of society sin, but we're looking the other way because we need you to hold this giant sword. Then there's auspice, which is your face of the moon. Just pick your face of the moon. I can give you the weird name that doesn't connect to any linguistics that you're aware of. But it is new moon, the questioners, theurge. Ragabash is the new moon, the questioners. Theurge is the spiritualists, the crescent moon. Philodox is the half moon, which are the balancers and the judges, and probably the arguably baddest ass. Galliard are the gibbous moons and the storytellers and the memories of the people, and Ahruns are the full moon, are the warriors. And then you pick a tribe of the 13, which we can help you winnow down. Even if you're like, here's my character concept, which fits the best, or which are the 3 that can fit the best, I can supply that on the fly. So yes, so you've mentioned Bonar Theurge and Child of Gaia Philodox, it seems like, right? You were looking at maybe the... And again, Child of Gaia Philodox is a classic for a reason. That's not to talk you out of it. It's actually to tell you that you've really stumbled across a magic formula there. Do you want to go into your third? Because your first is still your best.
Well, thank you. The last one is a rewrite of a character I have played before. Marty was in that game. We played Unknown Armies. And they're just a shithead hacktivist who thinks doxing people is cool. They're not a good person, and I don't know if I feel like playing them, but it was my Glasswalker idea. They're a ragabash. They're questioning things.
Sure.
And working from the inside to do good by fucking over the rich. Their name is Claire. I can't remember their actual name. They were a boy when I first played them.
Yes.
I can't remember what their name is. All I remember is at some point, he failed a willpower roll and had to do a bunch of drugs. No one asked me to do that. I made that decision and just...
But if I recall, you got to roll to learn all the armies by the end.
I did learn all the armies. I'm pretty sure. And I cast magic, and I didn't know how to do that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if everyone's cool with it, I'd like to be the Bonar biker.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am cool with that. I am very cool with that.
Very cool. I do love the Children of Gaia, and I like your take on it. You're never going to need to convince me to be a pillowy unicorn person, but I think unhoused outreach was something you said that, again, I think ties really neatly back into that trans kind of safe haven kind of idea. Unhoused safe haven, feminist safe haven, all of it together. Because, again, fuck TERFs. Feminism does mean all women. So, not that I like politics in my gaming. All right. Anyone else want to volunteer to go next? Or do I need to pick on someone? Like
Moon, do you have anything to say?
Jesus.
Wow. Oh, that's a lot.
No. Yikes.
All right. Moving on.
Please. Yeah.
So my idea behind reading through, I didn't get to auspice, but I read through the breeds and the tribes. A wolf that walks around with an iPad and is always grumpy.
Okay. That sounds very Glasswalker, but you could be the weirdest red talon in the world, but that sounds very Glasswalkery.
No, that was a Lupus Glasswalker.
Lupus Glasswalker, fucking
The
love it.
idea.
Fucking love it. Okay.
Do a lot of technology things, but I'm almost always a wolf.
Okay. 100%. Like that. And if we're making it a little more like secluded and suburban to rural, I think the idea that a Glasswalker is like quit out on the city and then eventually now there's Lupus Glasswalkers out there. I love it from the start. That's good. So I have Wolf with an iPad so far. All right, and yeah, we'll get into your Phase of the Moon again. Mostly it goes questioner, spiritualist, which we currently have one. That doesn't mean that you can't be one. Judge or kind of balance, poet and warrior are the 5 archetypes. You have a lot of swing there, especially with me. I'm open to interpretation on any of those concepts. We can get back to that. So Wolf with an iPad. Now, what interested this Wolf with an iPad in people's rights, in people outgroup protection, outgroup kind of like, this is part of my pack now because XYZ. What you got there? What?
I don't know. There's a lot of ways I could go with that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ways.
Again, you do not need to answer right now if you want some more time with it, but I'll take your first impressions as well.
Well, for me, the first thing that jumps out at me is just making a trans character.
Yeah.
Done it plenty of times here before, so why not do it now?
Yeah. And I find it delightfully interesting, the idea that, wolves really don't, I mean, other than the fact that they have biological genders the way that most species do, they don't really, that's not their ranking system. So I think the idea that it would be ridiculous to them once they put on people clothes that mattered to anyone, I think is a fun angle of that, if you agree.
Yeah, like 90% of the time I'm around, this does not matter, but as soon as I have to put on human skin...
Right, yeah. All of a sudden everyone's hung up about it or whatever. I think that's fun, for sure. So no, I say no more as far as I'm concerned. That's good. All right, so you've got 4 auspice, which is Phase of the Moon. Again, shares the same wording as auspicious and auspex. You've got the questioner, questioning the ways. That could tie right in there of just like you're a lupus who's questioning why any of this matters. Theurge, spiritual, you're more in touch with the spirits. You're expected to be the person who steps forward when spirits are present. Again, you can have all theurges, by the way. That doesn't bother me. So Philodox, a judge, you could maybe use that kind of position of kind of like you were all arguing over the wrong thing. You could be a poet or a warrior for those causes. So if none of them jump out at you immediately, we can refine your character to the point where you're like, you know what, in the end, we don't have one of these and I think it fits. That's fine. But just kind of keep those ideas in mind as far as no to new moon, crescent, half, gibbous, and full.
Of all of those so far, judge and warrior sound the most jumpy outy to me.
Sure. I like that. Unless you have more to immediately say, let's get Cece's pulse. But again, feel free to be like, and another thing, and we will certainly give you that other thing.
I am good for now, I think.
Okay, that's a strong seed. Cece. It's a world of darkness, as you understand.
It is. Okay, so I've got
darkness.
I've got a concept that kind of has 2 branches. So base concept is kind of a like and it doesn't have to be like a straight up therapist, but like definitely along those lines of the kind of person that's trying to help people find inner peace, or trying to find peace, trying to help people. So kind of like I was thinking along the lines of like therapist, art therapist, a yoga instructor kind of vibes, that kind of thing. The branching paths are in both age, because I'm kind of waffling between either being quite older, like 60s, 70s kind of age, versus maybe like a young, like almost kind of like the TikToker concept that Andy was talking about. I was thinking more of like basic like PSL type girl, like definitely on Instagram, taking pictures of everything that she consumes, kind of a thing. So those are the kind of two ways that I'm swinging on that. And then between either Children of Gaia or Stargazers, because I feel like one's more of like the peaceful seeking route from what I understand of Gaia. And then when I was reading Stargazers, they are all about like finding balance and like inner balance. And I find that thread very interesting, especially for the concept that I've got. So those are kind of the branches that I've got from stemming from that kind of helper personality.
I like it. Yeah, Stargazers are generally the contemplative tribe. They're kind of like, they're, as their name suggests, they look up at the stars and are kind of like, whoa, and Children of the Gaia do not fuck with Children of the Gaia. They come off as absolute like hippie peaceniks, and they're willing to forgive everybody, but they've got Ahroun too. They've got warriors. They've got people who will not fuck around. And will make you back down. So just because they're the hippy dippy ones that are kind of like, let's all hug it out. And if you don't say yes the first time, they're going to bork, and they're going to bork. So, so there's room there for either. I like a Stargazer. They're a tribe that's often out of reach for me. So I'd love to see a good one done. And I love the Children of Gaia. I'd play one every time. I'll tell war stories some other time, but one of my favorite characters that I ever played, it was Diana Heart of Love, I believe. Just an absolute numbskull. That was post-apocalyptic and fun. And
Heart
hey,
of
that's
Love,
the title.
Brain of Empty.
Yes. Oh boy. Not all there. Took a 7-point merit where I was a blessed Midas. It's fine. So yeah, boy, there's a lot of blurred line there, because I think there's a lot of meat on either bone. Something to just kind of highlight about the character creation process, specifically about Werewolf, is, again, new vampires tend to be lumped with new vampires. New mages tend to be lumped with new mages, etc. There tends to be that kind of like, your coterie is blah, blah, blah. Werewolf packs can range. You've got however many werewolves you have available, and they are every age, and they are every, stripe. Again, they don't have to like each other. If you wanted to make that dynamic, but you have to rely on each other. So yeah, none of that's restrictive. I kind of like the idea of a Child of Gaia on Instagram. I was about to say, I don't.
Is your username Child of Gaia?
Yeah, like 100%.
Not subtle about it.
Child spelled with a Y.
Yeah, yes, because of course it is. And I was about to kind of like pigeonhole Stargazers real quick, but I don't think that's necessary. I think a media savvy Stargazer would be rad, because it's so far out of like what my imagination would have come up with. So thank you for even the barest suggestion of it. I hate to pull an Andy on this, but I'm kind of cool either way. So let's they say if you can't make up your mind, put both in a hat, pull one out, and if you're disappointed, it was the other one, obviously. Do you what do you think would be more fun to play? Do you want to play a bit of an elder who's kind of seen it all, but is resolute in this thing, even if it's kind of fighting the tide? Or do you want to be kind of like a little bit younger and willing to be barked at by your elders a little bit? Like, I genuinely think there's meat on both bones. So you tell me. Sorry, Andy's character. I didn't mean to mock you.
I now that I'm thinking about it more, I do kind of like the idea of maybe playing like a younger character, but has almost like those older character like protectorate instincts. You know what I mean?
Might I introduce you to the background Past Lives, which exists in Werewolf the Apocalypse? It's literally you have been born again and you have old soul memories in a new body.
Well, I mean, that kind of solves that problem.
It doesn't not solve it. That's for goddamn sure. Love it, love it, love it. So, Children of Gaia versus Stargazers. Again, I don't think... No, as I bragged about well back in our first World of Darkness hostage video, where I eventually had to release at least one of Andy's cats. The brilliance of this character creation system is there is no restrictions. If you're playing against type, that's great. If you're playing into type, that's great. If you're playing nothing that has to do with type, that's great. So there are no such restrictions. I think Child of Gaia or Stargazer works. Mm-hmm. The more remote, I think Child of Gaia makes more sense because they're kind of just more widespread. They're very much like better at being pervasive. If you want to be kind of old soul new media, I think Child of Gaia makes the most sense. But again, that's my favorite. So it's easy for me to keep falling into that bucket. If you've got a Stargazer pitch, I'm here to not tell you no and to only say yes. So you don't have to decide now if you're like, let me look at both of their like power sets and things that are associated with them. We can, you got time. Even if you say Child of Gaia now and you're like, you know what, actually I looked at Stargazer or Black Fury or whatever later, that's fine too. I
do want to read through Children of Gaia more because I didn't read through that one as much because I was like, oh, I get it, I love it. Like
yeah, it's a wolf of necklaces. Got it.
Yeah, I didn't need to read much more. For Stargazers, the reason why this might be a little bit like cheesy of a reason of why I was really leaning more towards Stargazers for like the young Instagram chick is because it's like, oh, Stargazer, she's like really into like astronomy and shit, you know, like and then like, you know, she's all about finding that inner peace and balance, so she does a bunch of yoga and then posts about it on Instagram, you know, like it very much seems to fit like that kind of like a personality, like
no, for sure. And again, it's kind of the Eastern influenced tribe. I like the kind of idea of being like Nisei or like a couple generations in, and now you're finding yourself in the Nevada desert or something, and you're kind of like, hey man, cool. Like I've got this whole other thing going on. Every time you ask me where my parents are from, I've told you Denver. I don't understand what your question is. The eternal immigrant.
I've met 5 people at least like that.
Yeah. So you don't have to commit to either. We can look at the powers. We can look at where kind of like the vacancies are there. But I like either of those for that. Mm-hmm. Again, Children of Gaia is a personal favorite of mine, but I would love to see Stargazers done well and a good new take on them because I mentioned in our video, I'm just running on empty with Stargazers a lot. So I'd love to see them brought to life and done some justice. So you don't have to commit to that, but we're going to go with young person, and we're going to look at the past lives background, probably off air. All right, we're running. We started a little late, so we've got a little bit of time. Jay, I know you have some experience with the World of Darkness system, and obviously we've all played Vampire on this stream. Is there anything about the character creation that you're like, hey, I need to know this before we take this to chat or whatever? Is there anything that kind of like questions you have? You know, Between the attributes, you pick your primary, your secondary, and your tertiary. That is the thing you're best at, the thing you're second best at, and the thing you're the worst at. And the same thing is true with your traits. And then, once we get into gifts and stuff, this is a little different than vampire and stuff, but it's not so far afield that we can't get you caught up pretty quick. You're going to get a gift for being whatever breed you are, Hamid, Metis, and Lupus. You're going to get a gift for whatever auspice you are, and you're going to get a gift for whatever tribe you come from to start. And then we'll kind of talk about rank and stuff, because there is kind of a level up system in Werewolf that doesn't exist in the other ones, which is basically like you actually accumulate like honor, glory, and whatever. And you guys have been around enough where we'll probably just play with that. So if you're just kind of like, I absolutely need this third level gift of whatever because I think it completes my character, I'm not going to fight you. We got 2 hours to have a bunch of beer and chips fun with this game. And if we want to revisit it ever, that's great too. So I'm not going to be super restrictive. Try not to reach for the 5th level gifts too much, but I'll give you guys a lot of wiggle room, especially if you're like, actually, my character's 35, so I've been at this for a while. It's like, cool, take some more glory, and we'll do the other thing. So is there anything that jumps off the page immediately? And again, I will be accessible in chat as much as Andy can attest that I'm ever accessible in a chat. And if we need just another call somewhere in the intervening weeks, I'm willing to do that as well. But is there anything like just kind of like, hey, remind me about X or school me on Y real quick while we're all together right now?
While we're together right now, no. As I start getting like poking into ideas and abilities and how they work and how I can make them work for this character, I'll probably have more questions then.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
That's nothing that I don't think can be done over chat. And how available, Andy, is Marty over chat? Said you had experience with that. So what's that experience been like?
You guys are breaking up.
If you ask
I'm
me,
going through a tunnel all of a sudden.
Yeah. Look, if it's really important, he'll get back to you eventually.
That's the kindest is going to be said.
Sometime after this stream and before the next one. Got it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you ask me, I can remind him.
Yes. That's perhaps, the best way it could be put. So as a general guidepost as to how I see it, with attributes, just because you get to pick a primary, where you're going to probably have a 4 and 2 3s, just generally speaking. I consider attributes and abilities to be on different scales. Attributes, you're going to have a 4 and 2 3s probably, and then you're going to have a 3 and 2 2s, and then you're going to have a 2s in all fields. 2 is entirely average. That's literally the human mean average in attributes. Beyond that, you start to get exponential, but it's still within human proportions. A strength of 5 is just ungodly strong man, like you're curling and shit, like you're hurling logs and shit like that.
You're a professional strongman at that point.
You're a professional strongman at that point. But it's still kind of common because you can easily do that in character creation, so it's not breaking the bank. A reminder that any one of you, if you took 1s in all physicals by just taking some, I don't know, flaw that would get you there or whatever, once you turn into a giant murder beast, you are still above and exceptional to human mean average. Like, you are going to be a murder beast regardless. If you go physical primary, you are going to be able to punch DJ Crowling in the face so many times per round. Like, you can spend just rage on it and just so many times. It's going to feel very satisfying. We're all going to punch that dumb last detective book out of her. Now, with abilities, my perception of it, and so this may differ a little bit, but I'm just kind of setting my expectation for you guys. 1 is competent. It can be easy to be like, 1 means I can barely do it. No, 1 means you can do it. 2 means you can do it well. 3 means you can do it very well. 4 means you are like daring national like infamy for the thing. And 5 means you have a psychosis associated with it. That's kind of my like scale. So if you take 2 and a bunch of things, don't be like, I'm underpowered. You are not underpowered. That actually, like, the dice will bear that out. You will be able to roll a dice pool for it is enough. in general in this system to get a success or two, and a success or two is good. 3 successes is complete, 5 successes is exceptional. Having dice pools that can support those, including re-rolling 10s, is going to be good and good for you. But don't feel like I need 5s in this or I'm not good at it. Absolutely not. 2 is good at it. 3 is great at it. 4 is holy shit. 5 is what else have you done with your time other than study the blade or whatever. So just keep that in mind when you're kind of like scoring these things. I'm not going to be hella impressed by a bunch of 4s and 5s without a lot of spread. This is a system to put a lot of spread. Put a point in this, a point in this, 2 points in this, and 3 points in that. That's more what I think is good from my own experience with the system. Don't be afraid. Like if you want to put 4s or 5s in something, if you want to be a tank at something, like Jay, you're coming from lupus stock. You might not have a lot of drive or etiquette. So it might be appropriate that you've got a bunch of melee, and that's kind of all you want to spend there with your tertiary. That's fine. Like, don't be afraid of it either. I'm not going to give you a lot of talkings to. I'm just saying, just change your expectation with how you view points, where it's kind of like, in D&D, if you don't have a +2 in it, you kind of feel like it's wasted a little bit, like just kind of naturally built into the system. That is not true of White Wolf. The more points you have and more things means the more versatile your character is, and that's a good thing for when those situations come up. You want to be over-specialized in something? Go for it. Not telling you how to play your game, just letting you know. And if you have any questions or kind of like, hey, look at my character sheet, I will absolutely do that and go over it with you. Backgrounds, if you look in that section of the book, it will tell you what each one means. So like sometimes it's actually like literally like kinfolk. I have 1 kinfolk. I have 2 kinfolk. Now I have 3 kinfolk. I have 5 kinfolk. I have 8 kinfolk. Whatever it is. I'm saying that off the top of my head. Some of them are measurable. Other things are not as measurable. So it's just kind of like, you're rich, you're richer, stuff like that. But again, if you have any questions about that, that's fine. Gifts, I'm not holding you guys to rank 1. You will get a gift per thing you choose, as far as breed, auspice, and tribe. If you want more gifts, if you want to be like, yes, I'm more experienced at this, yes, I'm older at this, I've been doing this a long time. Lupus especially, you turned into a werewolf at age wolf 2, but you're actually, going to live an average human lifespan, so you could have been at this as long as you want. The more rage or gnosis or willpower you have, the more that kind of dominates your personality. Feel free to ask a lot of your questions offline, as I try to kind of circle some closing thoughts here. You guys are going to need... I feel like we've got a pretty good centralized what your pack's about. We need to talk about... we'll kind of do this a little bit in chat. Sorry, watchers. What's your pack totem? And it seems like if we're building a community around unhoused trans youth and protecting them, there's a lot of interesting animals or straight up amorphous spirits. You can just be like, it's a spirit of identity, and that's fine. Like that's like, we can take abstract concepts as well, but you guys will have a packed totem. Start thinking about things like, actually, we used to have an alpha and she just recently passed away, or he just recently, or he's still around. Actually, we want that to be an NPC where we have to deal with the fact that this one person is still around, whatever. So there's a lot of unanswered questions that I'll try and gather and put in something easy for you guys to digest. But that's kind of where I'm at as we start to round about the end. Any final thoughts? And this is not plugs, but this is final thoughts and questions while we're kind of together and thinking about these things before we take it to chat. Let's start with CC.
I don't have any final thoughts. Yeah, I'm good with sorting out the rest in chats or whatever.
Okay. Jay?
Really liked the idea where you said of the just totem being just like the concept of identity or something just like vague and outside there like that.
Yeah, I can roll with that. I think that's good.
Big and concrete. Other than that, yeah, I think we all managed to coalesce together pretty good into something cohesive. So
yeah, I'm excited about it. Totem, identity, spirit. And yeah, we're going to want to punch a many-wanged face of the patriarchy and possibly a DJ Crowling. Andrew.
I had a question, but it was answered by reading the book, it turns out.
Oh, neat.
So if you read the book, it tells you how to play.
What?
What?
That feels strange.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone's going to need a lot more D10s, or a dice roller, or we're just going to get used to hearing brum, 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 brum. Halfway there.
Try, but
Brum,
I don't know if my mic will pick them up. No, not really.
All right. Well, then, unless there's anything else, I think we've got a pretty good session 0 here. And there's still some questions left to figure out, but I think we're pretty good. It's going to come down to a lot of NPCs, a little bit of setting situation, whether or not we need more named bad guys or good guys, and we'll hit the ground running. Our hope is before the end of October to kind of line up with the spoopy season, but due to some real world mitigating circumstances, we might be early November, and we're going to call that good enough. The nights are going to keep getting darker, so we got plenty of World of Darkness left in us. With that in mind, let's do our outros and plugs. Yes, do? All right. Cece?
Hi, I'm Cece, aka Sutsuka, on the Twitters and the Instagrams. I'm gonna plug going into a world of darkness. That doesn't sound right. Playing games with your friends.
Yes. Darkness games.
And I'm gonna plug the full moon because it's that tonight, and we didn't plan that.
We did it!
We did it.
Totally on purpose. Thank you, Luna. We are your chosen champion and anime furry psychopaths. Jay.
Hi, that's me. Whole lot of in the stream. Why not? Why stop now? Trans rights, everyone. Go ahead and yeah, right. Me of all people saying that.
My pearls.
Hope your hand falls off clutching them. But yeah, if anyone, because I did kind of shout them out earlier, if anyone is curious about Tenacious Unicorn, they have a website, look them up. They're probably on Facebook. I know they're on Twitter, but they have a shop. If you're into knitting, they have alpacas. Get you some good yarn.
Yo, do that shit. Andrew.
Be kind. Don't be racist. Smash the patriarchy. Tax and eat the rich.
In that order.
Yes. Being a billionaire is not aspirational. There's no such thing as a moral billionaire. This week is, speaking of immoral billionaires, Gracefall.
Yep.
And that's it. Moon?
Right. Okay, well.
I mean, you did mention punching a mini-wanged demon in the face, so that's the only, sensible thing you've said so far tonight,
Yeah,
Moon.
but God.
Please don't come back.
Yeah, I think we all need to meet in the back chat about Moon. So yeah, click a like a bell, clang a subscribe.
Smash a like.
Absolutely smash that like, punch it right in its many-wanged face.
Did you know it is also September, and that means that you get 20% off of new and gifted subs?
Did you know that?
Did you know that?
I feel like I did because the last sub, I think I did it, but I had forgotten, so thank you for the refresher. Yeah, interact with us on any kind of social medias, including if you're not catching us on Twitch, please get our VODs on YouTube. And absolutely, tenaciousunicornranch.com, spelled how it sounds how it's spelled. And look them up, or any of the variety of, charities and outreaches and things that save kids' lives. If you've got no other bone in you that cares about other people, it saves kids' lives, especially for those of you that are suddenly concerned about child trafficking. The vulnerable amongst us are the targets of those things. So please, Trevor Project, etc. I don't need to educate you. You can educate yourself. It's called Google.
Google is free.
Google is free. But yeah, absolutely. And next time you see us four together, we're going to werewolf the shit out of it. It's going to be pretty good. Rue Guru, thank you so much. Andy, take us out. I meant on a bass solo or something, but
That's across the room. I can't get to it from here.
Sorry, everyone. I have failed you.